Hey guys, and welcome to Smells Like Teen Angst. And we are here finally to gossip with you about the mid-season Gossip Girl finale. Here we go. Yeah, like you guys have been so patient and we appreciate you so much. As we put up on the last video in post, was out of town for work. My hours are long, and so scheduling this video was nearly impossible. But we're here, and everyone said yes, and we're bringing it to you, and we appreciate that you wanted this video so badly. But before we get started, I'm going to introduce my cohort that I have with me to discuss the Gossip Girl. Shawn, let's start with you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shawn Jackson, and I am the host of Lost in the Reel. I am so happy that you guys have stayed along with us, and we love you. And if you want to check out my channel on YouTube, it is Lost in the Reel. I talk about hidden gems and all those good things in movies and television. So check me out, and also support Sarah and Keiki too.
Yeah. Keiki!
Thanks, Shawn. Hey guys, it's Keiki. Of course, I'm always here at Smells Like Teen Angst, and you can find me on the social medias there. I don't post often, but it's every platform. Let's get into this gossip, girl.
I know, yes. Okay, so normally we would do some comments, but we felt like it's been long enough that the comments are now irrelevant. So sorry. We love you, but we did reply to all of them. So a lot happens in this episode, and I'm honestly a little like, how do I start talking about it? We get actual like family stories. We meet so many parents. We get like, we learn a little bit about how Zoya and Julian's mother met Zoya's father. And I'm like, oh, this tiny nuggets is what this gave us. And also I feel like this episode was the most Gossip Girl feeling of them all so far. We had those little mini Gossip Girl monologues that transitioned us in and out of scenes. And I'm like, where has this been for 6 whole episodes? Like this alone, this tiny touch changed so much for me. I don't know about you guys.
Oh yeah, they literally have me coming back because we all know I was not trying to stick around.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, me and Sarah have been talking about this since episode 1. Like, we were not on board, but we were on board at the same time. And this episode made me feel like, okay, they're trying to do a lot in this episode, but like at least they're like listening to us. I feel like they've been listening to our like podcast since the first, the first day of our videos. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I know they've been shooting the back half of the season and they've been doing reshoots. So I'm hoping that they've listened to the fans or listening to what we're saying, and we're gonna it's just gonna get even more Gossip Girl-esque, which makes me kind of excited. I think I'm gonna start with kind of Julian and like not get into like all the deep party and the protests yet, but just kind of like where she's at. Because, she's failed her PSATs. Her dad is super worried about her. And she's like, look, I got my brand. I'm going to be okay. And I love that her dad is like, what WTF? Like, what is this brand that you're talking about? And I really enjoyed her partnering with Luna and like kind of schooling her father. Because really our parents, and even like me as a Zennial, like still are kind of lost in the brand world. So seeing how someone can actually make a living at being who they are and expressing who they are is kind of incredible. And I loved it as like a learning lesson for everybody.
Yeah.
Yes. It's important because there is that parallel between parents not understanding like how social media can really become a lucrative form of employment. You can build a career out of your lifestyle. And that's definitely what Julian is kind of on the precipice of, but it's pretty evident that she's not making her money this way. It's still daddy's money.
Yeah, she's trying. And I love how involved her dad was. Shawn, what did you think of this like little mini storyline going on for Julian?
I loved it because Sarah, you've been asking for it. Like, what is Julian's brand? And we finally got like her sitting down in front of people at that a bar that they've been going to, and talking about what her brand is. And I'm happy that they did that. And then, and we'll talk about this later probably, but during the protest, they're like, we don't want you to be involved with that. So that also brings in the idea of, being controlled by your brand and, these people that are giving you money. So I really appreciated this whole storyline.
Yeah, I did too. I loved it for her. Because as you said, I just wanted more Julian. I want to know who she is. And they're finally kind of giving it to us. Because I think Julian's kind of finally figuring out who she is. Because you can't be a brand if you don't even know who you are, what you stand for. And this is her journey, 6 episodes deep.
Yeah, and also her relationship with Zoya, though, too. It feels a little bit more nuanced. It feels more like they are sisters and they have this camaraderie together that seems so much more real in this episode than all of the others before it.
Yeah, I agree with you with that completely. I'm gonna, unless you guys have something else to say about Julian, I'm gonna talk about Audrey really quick. I'm gonna pop on over to her. This poor girl, like she is still at the hospital with her mom. She is still skipping school. You've got Max and Aki trying to help her constantly, which I appreciate. They're like a cute little throupleness that's happening, and like her, like this poor girl's going insane. She's going crazy. And I feel so bad for her, but I get it. Like her mom she leaves her one day and her mom gets sepsis. Like she's like, man, nothing can ever happen for me. Right. And I'm like, can we pull her out, have her mom be okay, and let Audrey just kind of settle back into who she is as well.
But for how rude she was to Keeks, she deserves that.
I mean,
because us Kiki's got to stick together. And I was like, girl, get off your mama's back. She has been through it, okay, Audrey?
Exactly.
Like, you're being pretty rude.
Yeah.
It's very much Little Mermaid energy. It's very Ariel energy,
Yeah. Like your mother's husband, they were obviously married as long as she's been alive. And he left her for some younger woman. Like that's tragic. And now the business is ending. And that's another level of like, it's just everything is piling on Keiki. And she just kind of had enough. And Audrey had zero sympathy for her mother. And I'm like, girl, I get that you're going through feeling neglected. But take a step back and try and see it from where your mom's coming from. I think that's the perspective Audrey got in this moment with her mom, trying to kill herself and then wanting to take care of her and needing her to be alive and well.
But also at the beginning of this episode, Audrey is insufferable. She's literally just like attacking these doctors and like being like, she has crazy hair and she's just like, screw you, take these lilies away. Like, I don't know. I just feel like she was so insufferable at the beginning, but then, and I've been very critical of Audrey through this whole season.
I do.
But then as this episode progressed, I really did love when she held Aki's hand, even though she outed him to,
that's a whole thing we will get into.
But yeah, so there's things about Audrey that I liked about this episode, but at the very beginning, I was like, girl, please, hard pass.
I know. Like, I get it, though. Like, she's going through her own trauma, and people in hospitals are crazy.
Yeah.
So, like, she became, like, a young ultimate Karen. Is how, like, she's like, I'm not eating, I'm not doing anything, and that's it. And, who do I want to pop over to next? Let's go to little Maxie Poo.
Oh, little Maxie Poo.
Should we go to our Maxie Poo? I love him.
Yeah.
Do we want to go to someone else? He's who I feel like kind of, because everyone else kind of trickles into like the big stuff that happens in the episode. So like,
yeah, let's go to someone different.
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
whatever.
He's like, let's go somewhere else. Do we want to talk about Aki? Do we want to talk about like Zoya's annoyingness? Let's talk about the teachers.
Yes, let's talk about the teachers.
Okay, so the teachers are discussing how they want to run Gossip Girl, and they want to do different themes. Like everyone's in charge of the spotted. People are in charge of, all the different aspects of Gossip Girl, and now Rafa wants in on it.
For notoriously evil reasons, but
100%. Yeah.
I am, as we know, not a fan of this storyline. It's been done so much. I don't like the grooming teacher situation in general. And the way that Rafa is really handling this is incredibly immature. And, it almost seems as if he's kind of fearless of what this would actually do to him as a teacher. Right. Like, he's like, oh, I can take you guys down before anything would ever happen to me. And I don't understand that type of confidence as a teacher at this school when these teachers literally created Gossip Girl because they're scared of the kids at this school. So fill me in on that one.
I also don't understand this paper trail that she wants to make. She's like, here's a folder and a binder with everyone's assignments and all the things we're in charge of. And I'm like, why are we making a paper trail? Someone just has to open this folder.
Yeah. And it's all over. It's all over.
Like, that is it's so stupid.
Because she's a teacher and teachers like lesson plans, girl.
Is that what it is?
They are trying to make Rafa, because they realize that, okay, we don't want to do this storyline, so we're going to make Rafa the villain. Right. And now Rafa's the villain, and he's going to take over the teachers, kind of, and he's going to be the villainous part of Gossip Girl. And maybe that's just me, because I feel like the writers and the showrunners are learning from their mistakes from the beginning. But I feel like Rafa is going to be the definite villain.
Absolutely, because now Rafa knows their secret. So then the teachers have a dilemma, right? Because, to jump into Max a little bit, Max sent a video into Gossip Girl that was like explicit, and the reason why this show is on HBO, I was like, that's not. I don't know about you guys, but I was like, because that's not the video I was expecting.
No,
but it had HBO worthiness, okay?
It did. It was. That's what we were waiting for, baby.
FW, and I was like, "This is what I've been waiting for."
I know.
I don't care if it's like 3 seconds long. I was like, and I like happened, okay? Happened.
It
did, and like they see it, right? And Rafa deletes it. So now they have this dilemma of, do they turn in Rafa for sleeping with a student, or do they risk, like the big risk of that is that he will then out them as Gossip Girl. So they have to figure out how to cover their tracks because they let the wolf into the hen house, Oh, and they didn't even know. And then I'm just like, oh, what are they going to do?
I like this conflict, and it actually makes sense to me, which I've been complaining about, like, a lot of these conflicts don't make sense. This one actually seems set up, and I get it, and I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, me too.
And I like the idea of constant consequences for these teachers, because we know who Gossip Girl is this time around. So Gossip Girl should always be a little bit on her toes, like she was in the series,
Yep.
People were always trying to
found out.
Yeah, always about to be found out.
Oh, this is like actually this storyline has me excited. If you can't tell, I'm actually like, I'm ready for it because they need to make the right decision. But who knows if that's actually what they're going to do. Oh God, I just can't, I still like I'm going to get into Max because we've talked about the video. It's happening. I just love, like, I can't help it. Like, there's like this weird little war with him and Rafa. Like, Rafa sends in this photo of him at the hospital being like, oh, he's going in for his STI test. Like, he's got gonorrhea or something totally curable with the fucking shot. So, like, I just think he's like, really? You're going to have to do something better than that. And, like, Max just, like, here's this. This is better.
He went for the jugular.
Because Rafa was going to try and sleep with his dad. So he was like, I'm done.
That is whole drama. That, whoo. Like, that is what we've been waiting for. That is the drama we've been waiting for, baby.
So, and honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I thought the dad was going to go for it.
Messy. You like messy, don't you? It would be
messy.
too easy. It would close too quickly if it happened, you know?
This is what I liked about Gossip Girl. Gossip Girl is messy.
Yes.
It is messy, but as we know about this HBO version of Gossip Girl, they like to drag it out and make us wait. We're 6 episodes in and we finally got a taste of what we missed, you know? So I think we should just be grateful right now and know that maybe it's coming in the future, you know?
I'm tired of being grateful. I'm tired. Like, as much as I love this episode, I worry that it's a little too late for viewers. I worry it's a little too late for me. I don't know. We could come back in the fall and have this backhand and be fire, and I'll eat all my words. But
I want to say this. The first 4 episodes, they dragged it out. The 5th episode, they made it happen too quick. And then in this 6th episode, it was like just this progression of craziness. So I don't know. Like,
I know.
This season,
we're finding our pacing, okay? We're finding our pacing.
Okay. But I just loved it. Really, am I the only one who thought the dad was going to sleep with Rafa? Am I alone in this corner?
No, you're not alone in this corner,
Oh.
but we have to keep in mind the fact that this was all instigated from the very beginning, and Rafa's also the reason his whole marriage fell apart. So if he is going to look for like some side booty, it's probably not going to be the guy he was getting played by, you know,
by his son.
By his son. It's just weird.
Yeah, that's fair. So I did like that whole confession conversation with Max and his dad. They've needed to clear the air for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, maybe they will meet some amends. Maybe his fathers will come back together. I don't know. I would love for that to be the case.
I would love that as well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really love the idea of people learning and growing together. And sometimes you need space to realize, you know, what is that? Like, set them free or whatever? I don't know. I'm not good with all of the sayings, just a few of them.
Like if you let them go, they come back, whatever, something like that. If you love something, let it go.
Yeah. But I just love, like, that was Max's line. Like, that was the needle. That was the too far moment. And he was like, take it, Gossip Girl. I'm in this. It's my face. It's his face. I'll get in trouble. He'll get in trouble. Make it happen.
I mean, because who wants to be Eskimo brothers with their daddy? That's nasty.
Yes, Keiki.
That's too far.
No. Oh, God. Rafa would see both their Vinegar Strokes faces. No one needs that.
Yeah, that's too far. It's also the type of vindictive things that, like, I've thought of in my head where I'm like, I broke up with this person. I should go date their dad. Like, you know, like, make you my stepson.
And that is what Gossip Girl is all about.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So into the thick of it, we met Aki's parents. We get to meet Obie's parents.
Mom.
Mother, just one. Sorry. And we get a very fun and interesting dinner party.
No, Sarah, that was Aki-Awkward, okay? That was not right.
Aki-Awkward, yes.
Aki-Awkward.
It was.
I know.
I mean, I'm glad they have parents, but
yeah.
And also Malcolm McDowell, like Hollywood royalty. And like for, you know.
He rolled up and I was like.
It's like, Malcolm McDowell is in this? Like, what?
I know. I'm like, look, if we're bringing in that caliber, this thing better get good. And he's perfect, though, because he is Aki's very wealthy, very manipulative father who knows how to play the game, who knows how to play business, who knows how to play the news and social media. And I'm just like, okay, let's get into it a little bit. So they all get invited to this dinner. Obie, like Zoya, to jump into her a little bit, like but learns that Obie's mom is in town and is like, why doesn't he want to hang out with me? And Julian's like, well, why don't you? I had to force myself to meet her, so you should do the same. And so she's just like accosts his poor mother at the
That
salon.
was so awkward.
But also, I also have this like feeling or inkling, like how true or pure was her intention with that, you know? Did she
Zoya?
actually, Julian,
Mm-hmm.
did
Oh,
Julian
Julian.
actually do such? Does Julian know that the repercussions that Zoya would have gone through, she wouldn't have gone through, you know?
Right. I mean,
Really good
she
point.
as like to Shawn's point earlier, like Zoya and Julian are like doing the sisterly thing, and they're talking about boys, and even awkwardly, someone that Julian is still in love with that her sister is dating, which this never should have happened, but that's the whole thing we've talked about. You know, and so yeah, she's giving her advice, but is it biased advice? Is it true advice? Is it subconsciously like sabotaging advice? You know,
That's a really good point. And obviously, as the episode turns out, that's, you know, like probably that subconscious advice ended up working out for her.
Exactly. It works out in the end. Hey, I do love. So Zoya then gets, because she accosts Obie's mother, invited to the rich people party. So it's a dinner party with Aki's entire family, which I like. His parents are amazing, and poor Audrey, who is just like falling apart, and Zoya and Obie, and it is the most awkward dinner of all time. Because Zoya is sitting there with the enemy, so to speak, right? Her enemy. It is the elite. It is the 1%ers. And it is like our parents of parents that have been doing this a long time, and they have come from old money.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trying to interject her own very progressive, liberal ideas at them at this dinner, which isn't the place or time.
She came in flaming, though.
Yes.
Like, let's be honest. There's an approach, and we all attacked, exactly. And we all know that Zoya has the education and the wit about her. So some of the things she said didn't have to be so uncalculated. Right. I think she was kind of letting her anger at Obie kind of take a forward seat to how she was going to behave this night, no matter what.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to come in and be nice at all anyway, to begin with. No. She was going to come in and show who she is. And she did that.
Yeah. And I do appreciate, though, like Zoya, as much as they came for her or pretended to ignore her, she went toe-to-toe with them. And she was smart enough and bright enough to be able to come back with actually really good points and good arguments, even if they didn't agree, and were able to squash them with their own thoughts and ideas, especially when it comes to like Aki's own father's lawsuit at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, which just gets even dirtier as it goes along.
So dirty. I just feel like Zoya, like, through this whole season, I'm like, girl, like, you need to be more subtle. Like, she's such a smart, beautiful girl. Like, just be a little bit more subtle in your approach. Maybe that is for, you know, progression of who she's going to become. But this whole dinner table situation, like, she could have attacked it in a much more, once again, subtle way. Or a more tactful way, like you guys said. So I didn't love how Zoya acted, but I do think that the Malcolm McDowell scene, like just them there, it was so interesting because I feel like it's giving us a little taste of what they're going to give us in the next season with the parents and what we've been asking for a little bit.
Exactly. And what do you guys think about Zoya calling out Obie and being like, you're at these protests, you feel the same way I do in front of his parents? Like, do you think that was too far? Or like, we've all wanted to push Obie to actually stand up for himself. Do you think that thoughts?
I think it's right to call him out for who he is. You can't just be an activist on paper. You got to be, out in the streets, actually making things work. And he has privilege on his side, and a name on his side, and he could use it for so much greater. But instead, he kind of takes the back seat to it. So definitely, I think she went into it thinking he was someone completely different.
Yeah.
And after dating him for a while, learned that he's not. He's just like any other rich kid, and she's a little exhausted. That's all.
Yeah, and I think Obie's true colors really came out at dinner. That he even though he shows up at the protest the next day, I think it just shows that he is a coward. Mm-hmm. And Obie barely believes what he says he believes, and isn't really willing to put his money where his mouth is quite yet. But this might be the push that he needs in order to actually do so. But the way he spoke to Zoya, the way, I get it, but also it's uncalled for.
Yes,
completely. Zoya was inappropriate. He was inappropriate. Everyone was inappropriate, including Audrey, who outs Aki to everyone at the dinner. Audrey. Ma'am. And she knew it as soon as it came out of her mouth. She was like,
I love that you said that, though, because I did notice that, and I'm like, okay, Audrey knows she's done wrong, because, ma'am, you done wrong. But still, this, I still don't like this character. I'm still struggling to care about her. I'm sorry.
You don't have to like her.
You aren't alone. You don't have to like her. I still don't get her.
Yeah. No.
She's the most immature of the bunch to me. And
absolutely.
I don't know, the most bland. What is going on with you other than whining all the time? Fuck.
Or a hot mess Karen.
I know. Hot mess Karen. I do love, though, that later, because when Aki is alone, because she tells him, she's like, I need to let you know, I think I accidentally outed you to your parents. That happened. And so I appreciate that she owned up to it and told him so that he wouldn't be blindsided later. And I thought that his mother reacted lovely. She came in, their scene together where she's like, if you want to talk, do you need to tell me anything? Are you ready? And he, and I loved that. I loved that.
This scene truly bothered me.
Really?
Yes, because his mom came in and she was so I just wanted Aki to come in there and be like, yes, mom, I am bisexual, or yes, mom, this is what's going on with me. And he was so dismissive of her. And this is a woman, who's probably pushed him away a little bit, but is trying to get to know him a little bit more. And she's willing to give him her heart and listen to him. And he was so dismissive of her. And then there's nothing else in the rest of the episode about this. So I loved what his mom did, but I hated how Aki reacted to it.
Yeah, well, we all know Aki is far from ready to even own up to any part of his own sexuality. Max even called him my best bi friend. And when he said that, I was like, wait, has Aki officially actually come out to people? Because I was really confused by that. I was like, oh, we're just going to throw that out there. I'm like, oh, maybe he's getting more comfortable. And I agree with you. I thought with his mom basically telling him that she was a safe space for him, that he would have felt comfortable enough to finally say, yes, this is who I am, and thank you for loving me, and I'm still figuring it out, and I will talk to you when I'm ready,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I also have kind of the difficulty with it, because we're often told over and over again, oh, they don't dress nice because they're Gen Z. Oh, they don't do this because they're woke. Oh, they don't do that because they're woke. And we all know that, our little Gen Z gabies, they're not going through what our peers went through in high school, It's a very much a little bit more out loud and proud world, especially in a big progressive city like New York. And he has friends like Max who are clearly out. So even if it's something that he wanted to explore, we haven't learned anything about his parents to set up why he'd have an aversion to telling them this. All we know is that he's the youngest of multiple kids of multiple mothers. Like, it's almost like I was confused that, like, if your parents are saying on the phone, I love you, or your mom, I'm here for you, open your heart to me, and you don't want to talk about it or even clear the air for it, I'm kind of wondering, like, what makes this character like this? Because it seems like the people around him give him the space to be who he wants to be. I don't know.
Well, his dad did have this whole situation where his company was giving more benefits or
the
more,
lawsuit?
the lawsuit,
Yeah.
towards more heterosexual people and against like hiring anyone that's LGBTQ. So maybe
Right.
that would be something that molds his views, and that's what they're trying to, say, like, oh, Aki, doesn't want to come out to his dad because, I mean, who he is, and he's super, like, what's the word for it? I wouldn't want to come out to that dad.
Intimidating?
Yeah, he's intimidating.
Intimidating.
He seems very conservative in the wrong way, like.
Yeah. I think just for them to, like, introduce us to the parents and then the parents try to lend this ear so quickly, it didn't make up for the fact that, like, Aki is uncomfortable. I'm like,
Well, I'll say that, like, even though, yes, that Gen Z is a lot more open with their sexuality and who they are, it doesn't change necessarily how difficult it is for some people just to settle it in with themselves. And I think that's really what, it's not so much that Aki hasn't been supported. I think Aki's still just struggling with acceptance of himself.
Yeah.
And that is a struggle for anyone from any generation.
So it's an inner turmoil within Aki rather than, outside forces.
That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it anyway. I think it's just an internal, like, however, like, he sees heteronormative, like, relationships around him. Okay, I always thought I was one way. Now I'm not. Maybe I'm this way. Yes, I have Max, who's, like, open and fluid and proud of who he is. He's like, but I don't know if I'm actually there. And so I think he's just waiting until he's actually comfortable in his own self. And that's just a struggle no matter who you are.
Totally. And I get that. I'm just saying, and as a storyline, it's getting treated a little bit like it's taboo in this world or situation. And I don't really think it is anymore. Like, people identify differently. People have different pronouns. People define their relationships in so many different ways now that it's just like,
yeah,
I don't know. It feels a little more fearful than I think this show wants to be, without giving us reasons why he
would be.
He would be.
Well, I feel like,
let's talk about what happened in the protests then.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's a big example as to why he would be. Go for it, Shawn.
So Daddy comes out because everyone's fighting him. He has this lawsuit going on. And then he says, why would you ever, accuse me of doing this because my own son is gay? And then Aki tries to say, like, I'm not gay, I'm bi. And this is a really interesting thing that they're doing here, because I'm going to say this. I feel like there's a lot of shows that cover bisexuality. Sorry, not bisexuality, but being gay and lesbian, but there's not a lot of shows that cover being bisexual. And for him to, like, this character is interesting to me because he's like, I'm bi, and then everyone walks away. And that's not okay. Like, everyone needs to, like, listen to him once again. He's not gay, he's bisexual. And, they are covering that, so I think that's very interesting. But his dad thinks and wants to say that he's gay.
Right. And his dad's using him as a pawn. So I feel like that explains his relationship with his father pretty clearly as to what his dad thinks of him and who he is in his life is a malleable tool to use for his own will.
Right.
And it doesn't matter who he is or what he says or, what he cares about.
And it's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. But I do appreciate the bi representation because, as you said, Shawn, a lot of shows don't cover it, and it's a part of sexuality that even I remember growing up. They're like, "Oh, he says he's bi, he's just a step to gay," and it's like, no, there are actually bisexual people out there. It is a real thing, and no one should just look at them and be like, "Oh, well, they're bisexual. Oh, I want nothing to do with that." No, we all are people. We're all humans, and
So
I appreciate
totally
this representation.
I appreciate the representation. I just wish Aki would own it more.
Yeah, it should be done better, and I think that's what we're all trying to say. It's not being handled well.
Yeah,
and it's an attempt at something that could be great, which is a lot of this show. An attempt at something that could be great.
It could be great though.
Facts. So let's get to the rest of this protest. I'm like, oh, the drama is what I wrote as my note. Protest. Oh, the drama. So we've got the Obie, Zoya, Julian love triangle at full blast now, which is not a thing I ever wanted or we ever wanted for this show.
Yeah.
Julian goes to see him. She's excited. Oh, Obie's at the protest. Zoya, oh, Obie actually is at the protest. And then they get there slightly separately, and she's all upset that she sees Julian, or Zoya's all upset 'cause she sees Julian with her sign and Obie with his sign. And Julian's like, I got a sign for you. And she's like, bye. And leaves because she's so butthurt about it. Because the whole dinner party went poorly and she's blaming Julian. I'm like, no, girl, that was you. That was all you.
Zoya is too much for me. I'm sorry. I wrote for this whole thing. I'm like, okay, this is lame, is what I wrote, because I
put dumb. I used dumb.
Again. We're gonna do this cycle again. So in the next part, all of a sudden, we're going to get the sisters are at it again, and they're going to go back and forth. They're going to love each other. Then they're going to hate each other. We can't do this again. We need to figure it out.
Figured out. Also, can we talk about Obie's awkward Homer Simpson fadeaway into the bushes? He did it. I was like, what is this weird fadeaway? The Homer Simpson gif? Sorry. I was like, what is that? But then things get scary at the protest, and the police show up, and the rubber bullets are flying, the gases are going, and they run off into an alleyway and make out. Because none of us saw that coming.
Honestly,
we're all underwhelmed.
The relationship never made sense to begin with.
No, and they don't have chemistry with each other at all.
They don't have chemistry. They've been moving towards trying to break them up for episodes way before this.
Zoya
it's like
Obie. Yeah.
It's like almost as soon as they got together, they were meant to break apart,
Yeah.
And if anything, her getting together with Obie was just a catalyst for Julian to kind of find who she got away from.
To figure out who she really is, and Obie to figure out, it's appreciate Julian more, because he did. He was like, I see what you're doing. The brand is great. You're standing up for yourself. Where's this Julian? The Julian I used to know. Apparently, she's becoming the old Julian that we all are trying to figure out who that is.
Yeah.
And he's some heifer who doesn't wear makeup.
One thing I do like about the whole protest situation is, even though, would you answer a call from your sponsor or whoever's paying you during a protest where there's
absolutely
all this shit going on? No. But the point of that, I like it because they're saying they're not going to sponsor her if she's a part of this protest.
Right.
I do like that whole idea, and it kind of constitutes what we've been asking for about why Julian is who she is. Give us her brand. So I like that, but it's still a little silly.
Yeah, I agree. And then the final moments is that we get the throuple we've all been asking for. The final scene.
The polyamory that solves a lot of things.
I'm like, yes, Audrey, Aki, Max in this love bubble. We'll see how this goes, because these kinds of relationships can absolutely work. I don't know if they can work for Audrey.
No.
No. And I also think Aki is such a sweet baby and he deserves to be properly loved, not like surrounded by these psychos that he's clearly going to be in a throuple with. And yeah, he's too good for them at this point. Like, I'm still tired of Audrey and I wanted to love Max. I wanted him to be my favorite, but then
he's still my favorite.
but
Max
then
is everything.
But then we got here. So
Max is going through his own thing too, okay?
He is. Can we talk about
I
Audrey?
love him, but I don't want him involved in this thing.
Can we
But I
talk about
accept it.
Audrey bringing in this rack of ribs or lamb or whatever? She's like, hello. It's like this, oh my god.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
literally, she just brings it down, and then okay, I think that their makeout sesh was kind of cute, I guess, but it seemed so staged, and I don't know if they all have the right chemistry with each other.
No.
It was a lot.
Also, if you're gonna give me that Rafa Max video, you could give me some of this throuple threesome. Just a smidgen. I don't need a ton of it.
Right.
I just need something.
What did you need? Like a shirt coming off or something?
Yeah, just like a shirt coming off, a kiss on the neck, and then someone fading downwards and then be gone. You know what I mean? Just a little.
Well, and then
little
Max and Audrey just got a peck on the lips, and then it was fade to the phone and Gossip Girl narration.
Yeah.
No.
Very true.
Not enough. If this is season 1, part 1 finale, we need more than that.
Look, I will always hold up every sex scene of this version of Gossip Girl to the Nate and Serena sex scene of episode 1 of the OG Gossip Girl. If you don't at least give me that level, I don't want it.
And I'm sorry, when was that? 2009?
Yeah.
It was 5, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm rewatching Dawson's Creek, and they had this very sexy scene. I was like, oh, the WB, the CW.
More sexy than whatever they're doing here in 2020.
Riverdale is sexier. And come on. Sorry.
Agreed.
I get very annoyed because they have such potential. They give us this video and we're like, oh. And then I'm like, we're getting there. No. If you can give me Euphoria, you can give me this Gossip Girl.
Exactly. 100%.
So any hopes, any dreams, any things that you think are going to fail us coming into the fall? We don't have a date. Have they announced a date for the return?
I
haven't seen one yet. Okay. Yeah. I haven't seen one yet, so they may not have. But I'm looking forward to see what the teachers do. I don't give any two shits about the Zoya, Obie, Julian fallout of this kiss. No. They're who cares? The throuple's gonna be messy, and honestly, all I care about is Rafa being the villain and where we're gonna take this from here, because that's the most exciting storyline of them all right now. Mm-hmm. Rafa video, Gossip Girl saw it, even though it's gone. We know Max has the video, so Gossip Girl could easily reach back out to Max and be like, "Hey, somehow a glitch happened." And I saw it, and it just disappeared. Could you resend it? Because we want to show this to the authorities.
Guys, Gossip Girl started in 2007. I swear it was 2005.
Yeah, see, there you go. In 2007, Nate and Serena had the sexiest sex scene on a teen show. It was shot so beautifully. Her hair everywhere. It was golden and luscious. If you guys have not watched the original Gossip Girl, just watch the first episode for that alone, and you'll understand why I'm so annoyed.
I just didn't realize I was watching Gossip Girl and Grey's Anatomy at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, anything you're looking forward to, not looking forward to? Anything we missed in your notes that you want to discuss before we wrap this baby up?
Yeah. So HBOMax said that part 2 is returning in November.
Okay.
So we are going to get new episodes in November. The rest of the final 6 episodes, they've said.
Oh, so we'll get a Christmas finale.
I would love to see Aki just explore himself more, because I do love this character and I see him growing a little bit, but I just want the showrunners to give him the right storyline. I don't want him to be with Audrey anymore. I'm sorry.
None of us do. We're over it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I want Obie to become kind of like and this is where I feel like it's going. I feel like Obie is kind of becoming this villain that doesn't know who he is, and he's trying to be something that he's not, basically. And I want that to come out, and then also I definitely see Zoya becoming the queen bee.
Yeah, we're headed that way for sure. Angry, gonna take her sister down because she feels betrayed. Keiki, anything for you?
I am looking forward to betrayal. I am looking forward to meeting Audrey's daddy. I am looking forward to more of this Thruple goodness, and kind of, DTRing whatever this Julian, Obie, Zoya love triangle is going to be, because we all know I was always Team Julian. So I'm ready for it,
Yeah.
They got me.
Yeah.
It took them 6 episodes, but I'm here.
Yeah, this episode, like, I think I'm hooked now. But like Keiki said, it took a lot of episodes.
6 episodes. And I would never give a show this many opportunities. I'm just going to put this out there.
I think the last show I gave 6 episodes was True Blood. And it paid off until the end.
It did.
But,
it was Thrones for me. And it was only because everybody was stabbing me in the back. Like, come on, just watch it.
Exactly. They're like, you're going to get through this. Gotta get through this. It's a good song. It's
Gotta get through this. Gotta get through this.
I'm like, now we're all delusional. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Comment your thoughts as you always do, what you're excited for. Will you be joining us again in November? Please say yes. I hope you do. Until next time, guys, Keiki, I'm going to start with you. Tell them who you are and where to catch you after Gossip Girl.
Hey, guys, again, I am Keiki. It's spelled right there. And I am specifically on this channel. Sometimes I play D&D or some other tabletop game on QueueTimes, but that's it.
Hold on. Let me throw up a graphic.
Yeah, Blackness and Dragons, guys.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So check her out. She's awesome.
But that's all.
Shawn
McDonald. My name's Shawn from Lost in the Real. Check out my YouTube channel. I cover television, films, and mostly hidden gems that you might not have heard of, and some things that you might have heard of as well. But I always love to hang out with Sarah and Keiki and do this thing, and I can't wait to see you guys in November.
It's so far. And again, I'm Sarah. I'm always here on Smells Like Teen Angst. Thank you guys again for joining us on our Gossip Girl reboot journey. Until next time.
Bye.